Hi, friends. Today's math lesson has to do with describing shapes. We're looking at geometry, all kinds of things about shapes and figures, looking at angles. So, before we go ahead and look at the anchor task today, something that's really important for you to remember is what a right angle is. So, let's take a look at this document right here that's in your math folder. And it says here, before trying the anchor task, let's remember what a right angle is. This is from a previous lesson. Really important to remember what a right angle is before we go ahead and continue this work for today. So our friend here is saying when two straight lines meet, we get an angle. And you can see how she's showing you on this square, the two lines that are meeting, the two sides that are meeting to form an angle, a right angle. And then our friend here is saying we call this a right angle. There's also a picture here to show you on a gridded paper what a right angle exactly looks like. It's really, really important that we clearly understand what a right angle is. And there are so many examples all around us that show right angles. For example, I have this little piece of board. And if you look, this right here, this is a straight line or straight side and another straight side that meets to form this corner here, which is known as an angle. This is a right angle. I also have this ruler here. You can see the ruler. I hold it up against the dry erase board, you can see it a little bit better. And so when I look at the top of the ruler right here, the corner is a right angle. You can find lots of things around you in your home or even just the world around us that show right angles. So how are we going to use this information to move forward? Let's take a look. It says, now try the anchor task. Look carefully at the shapes below, then describe how they are alike. That means how are they the same and how are they different? Hint, think about sides and right angles. We want you to use math language, so please stay away from using words like pointy thing and words that are not necessarily math related. So please do not use the word any kind of color in your responses. So for example, if you look at shape A and shape S, we don't want to say they're different because one is yellow, one is green. We know that. We're looking at more, we're focusing more about the sides and the angles. Let's take a look. So the questions are asking you, how are these two shapes alike? And how are they different? Same thing for these two shapes, shape C and I. Please don't tell us that shape C is pink and then shape I is blue. We know that. We're focusing on specific math language, really looking like a mathematician, looking at sides and angles. How can you tell us that they're alike and how are they different? Please spend some time doing that if you haven't done so already, and pause the video here, and then I'll show you how we solve it. Okay, hopefully you've had some time to solve the anchor task. Let's take a look at how we solve it. So shape A and S, it says all four sides of both shapes have the same length. Both shapes have four angles. Okay, so when we talk about angles, again, if we look at this shape right here, we can see this is angle 1, angle 2, 3, and 4. If we look at shape S, same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Both have four angles, right? And when we talk about sides, we're talking about these sides right here. Now, how do we know they're equal? So for this lesson, we're not going to measure because some of us may not have rulers or tools to measure, but I have a ruler here. And we sometimes think, what is the best way of measuring an object or a side, right? Are we going to use inches or centimeters? So if we see a ruler like this, I'm going to hold this up so we can see it clearly. Hold on this side. The smaller measurements, right over here are known as centimeters. And the ones that are like a little bit bigger are known as inches. So how do we know which one to use? So we think about that. The bigger the side or object, we use inches. The smaller, we use centimeters. In this case, if you want to and you have a tool at home to measure, feel free to hold it up to the screen and see if they do measure equally the sides, or you can even get a piece of string or a piece of paper. So I can easily get a piece of paper and mark it on the paper to see if the sides are equal. Okay, so feel free to use any tool. Another form of measurement that some of you may have is a tape measure. So I had one lying around in the garage. Up to you. Okay. So both these shapes have 4 angles and they have sides that are the same length. Shape S, now how are they different? Shape S has 4 right angles, and I'm going to show you that. So I'm going to erase what I just drew so that I'm not confusing you. Okay, and let's take a look. So what is a right angle in this shape? So shape S has 4 right angles. Here's a right angle. We draw it by using little boxes on the corners to show that's how you indicate a right angle. You just draw a box, right? So this shape S actually has 4 right angles. Shape A has 2 angles that are less than a right angle. Okay, so which ones are less than a right angle? Okay, I'm going to just number these angles. You can see them. I'm just doing this so that it's helpful to you. So if you look at angle 1 and 3, those are less than a right angle, okay? And 2 angles that are more than a right angle. So angle 2 and 4, those are bigger than a right angle. You can kind of see, you can see that, okay? And if you want, what you can do is hold a piece of paper, hold the corner of a paper up to the angle 2, and you'll see how it's bigger than a right angle. Okay, so down over here we have shape C and I. Both shapes do not have sides of equal lengths, okay, equal length. So if you look at this side over here for shape C, and this side, they're not all the same. And same thing for shape shape I. So really important to note the sides. They're not equal, okay, or equal length. Both shapes have a right angle, okay? So that is something that we need to know that's similar. Here's a right angle for shape C, and here's a right angle for shape I right there. What's alike? What's different? Okay, now it's your turn. So you're going to go down over here, and I'm going to explain this to you really carefully so that you understand. Let's see if I can turn this off. Get this editing tool out of here. Okay, never mind. So I'm going to scroll down over here and show you how, if you look at the practice, there you go. Guided practice, it says look at each shape carefully, then identify how many equal sides and right angle each shape has. So you're going to look at the shape and then tell us how many equal sides it has. Now, so for this one, you can see they've held a ruler up to the side of the square. This is 1 inch, and I'm just going to tell you that all sides are 1 inch. Give you a big clue there. So how many equal sides does this square have, and how many right angles? Same thing for the rectangle and the rhombus. And then over here, down over here, number 2 is asking you to do something similar, except this time we're just looking at equal sides. Identify how many equal sides each shape has, okay? And then for the curriculum extension, if you want to practice some more, which I always think is a great idea, is look at the shapes above and see if you can fill the chart in. You're going to ask yourself, is it a polygon? What is a polygon? Okay, think about that. Are all sides, a number of sides, and are all sides equal? And how many right angles do they have? And what is the name of the shape? Okay, and then number 2 has to do with triangles. Again, we're just going to ask you, please don't tell us that they are different because of different colors. We're not focusing on color, okay? So see how that works out for you. If you have questions, definitely ask us in the small groups, and then we will work together if you have questions or if there's anything that looks confusing to you. Okay, have fun, and we'll see you later. Bye.